The impact of the computer on our lives already is incalculable.
Probably about 80% of what is available on the internet is on the dark web, and probably only about 20 to 30% of what we actually see as a general public with Google, Safari, or different search engines. Probably about actually talking about when you said about dangers, there's lots of crime, kind of paedophilia, child pornography. There's a lot of very illegal stuff that's on the dark web. And generally, most people are using the dark web are probably using it for legal purposes or just to remain anonymous. There is something around using the internet and Big Brother kind of spying on you. I'm not arguing one way or the other, but I am saying there is a sort of a movement around people using the dark web because it's free and nobody should be able to be watching.
Dark web. I think the first time I used it was around my mate's house. We were just browsing, looking at like weird shit on it. Really, you can like pay to buy a load of guns. What we were looking at. Oh, it's so easy. All you've got to do is watch a YouTube tutorial video, and you can like get on it. That's how easy it is to get on. No, just buy drugs really. Buy some pills. It's like just comes next day delivery. It's so much better than getting it off the dealer. Really, just better products, safer, cheaper. It's packaged so well that when it came in like a big sealed package, like something you'd buy off Amazon, and then it came in like another package, then in a passport case. So if someone sees it, like the delivery guy, they just think it's a passport. You have to pay by Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin's like a cryptocurrency which leaves no trace of like who it is, if that makes sense.
Okay, right, so you'll have the seller who's selling drugs, and then it's basically a menu. It's a bit like eBay. People do call it the eBay of the dark web, of drug buying. And what you tend to do is you would choose the drugs you want to buy, either from England or internationally. Things are encrypted, so there's specific ways, and like I said, I won't go fully into exactly how, because I don't want anyone particularly buying it from dark web, but you put your money into something called escrow. It stands for something, but it's a bit like your money goes into, like, let's say, a bank account. It doesn't get released to the dealer until you get the drugs sent to you. You'll get your drugs sent to you, and then if you're happy with it, you'll put comments, like a kind of comment that you've received the drugs, and then the bank will release the money to the dealer. Highly illegal, completely illegal, and like I said, anyone importing drugs or getting
life in prison.
The Silk Road.
Secret world. Drugs, weapons.
Never really heard of it.
and when I did hear of it, it was through my son, and he was explaining to me that there was like a dark net or web that lived almost beneath the one that we understand like the internet. And as he was explaining it, I wasn't actually particularly horrified. It just felt more like, I don't know, something a bit underground but nothing too threatening. I didn't pay too much heed to it. But of course, as you probably know, that his use of the darknet actually was a lot to do with him dying, because he procured something from it that killed him. So that changed my views on exactly what it was and how sinister it can be. Well, since it's happened, it's out my life. There's nobody in the family that will be looking at it or procuring anything from it. But it remains in my life, because even talking to you today about it will hold it there and remind me. But I kind of feel that I need to do this, so that if one person perhaps hears this or hears anything else that I've spoken about, it might deter them from trying to procure something from there that could harm them. So it's kind of affected me in that way now. In his case, I suspect not, because he suffered from depression. He was quite isolated, so he'd spend a lot of time in his room, kind of romantically attached to his laptop. You know, he was just there on it all the time, fiddling around doing this. And actually, whilst he was doing it, he was relatively happy. That's why I didn't particularly, I mean, he was a man, not a child, so I didn't particularly want to censor it, because he'd always be finding something that he thought was quite interesting. Not always something malevolent, something that's quite interesting. So, you know, his laptop was his friend, but of course he went down that route, and that changed it. The same way that I warn people about maybe don't take drugs anyway, but when you're going to order something from the dark net, you're not going to know how it's concocted any more than you would know how heroin was put together. But from the dark net, you're getting stuff that's probably 1,000 or 10,000 times stronger than anything that you can actually buy on the street at the moment. That's the scary thing. It's instant death. You could have a bad batch of heroin, you could be very unlucky, you could die. But with carfentanil, which killed my son, you're definitely going to die. There isn't any, oh, I might do about it, really. So that would be what I'd be saying to people. Please don't order things that you don't understand. Any heroin user, it's an opiate. There's a drug called fentanyl that people actually use for, it's much stronger than morphine, and it's used for back pain. I believe you can get patches for it, but it's extremely strong opiate or opioid, I think. Carfentanil, you can times that by 1,000. And the person that actually was working in the lockup that they traced the carfentanil back to put himself in a coma, not by ingesting it, by walking into the room. And actually he was in the vicinity of the drug. That's how powerful it is. Subsequently, he didn't stop posting it to people, so he knew it was actually lethal. So he on that occasion didn't die, but I think he was in a coma for about 3 or 4 days, and then continued to distribute it. So that's how powerful it is. And often, and before Charlie died, there weren't any guidelines around what to do if you were distributing it, because it's quite new. So Charlie, bless him in a way, has helped to alter the laws and the guidelines around that, because whereas before sentencing was heroin, now you can sentence for distribution of fentanyl or carfentanil. So that bit's changed and updated subsequently.